on innate immunity and also adaptive immunity. Now, let's go to the different factors which which affect our immunity, especially to do with our lifestyle. Now, let's say diet. Diet is something which we are going to do in detail, so I'm not going to talk about it now. Physical activity, we require at least 30 to 40 minutes of exercise, if nothing, at least day, at least 5 days in a week, so that it is, I know my internet is showing little unstable, so I will try to repeat everything, so don't worry. And physical activity is very, very important for our immune system. So be very careful that you are not sitting at home quietly, not doing any exercise. Sleep, 7 to 8 hours is very, very important, and not like sleep at 12:30 or 2 o'clock in the night and then getting up. Like it should be according to our body clock. So try to get to bed as soon as possible and try to get up as early as possible. But 7 to 8 hours is needed for our body to rejuvenate, do the maintenance and repair. So these 2 points are very, very important. And I don't want to talk about exercise because I'm not an expert at it, and each one should do the exercise that is suited to each physiological condition and their body condition. Now let's go to our immune system. Some people have immune systems which are weak because of some infection, like maybe HIV or some other infection. During pregnancy also our immune system comes down a little, and smoking reduces immune system. So if you are smoking, please cut it down. Genetics, some people are born with weak immune system. We can't do much about it. And there are certain nutrient deficiencies when the immune system also falls, like vitamin A or iron or zinc. So make sure that you are getting your recommended dietary allowance of all the nutrients, and some of them are even more important that I will go into detail. The first nutrient is attacked by any bacteria, virus or anything, our body liberates antibodies. This orange thing depicts the germ or the virus or the bacteria, and these black things are the antibodies our body releases. And these antibodies help in nullifying the effect of these viruses or bacteria. Now, these antibodies are made out of protein. So we should have enough raw material, that is enough protein in our diet, so that our body is able to make the antibody it requires. For different germs, that is bacteria and virus, the antibodies are different. So we need to have enough raw material. And one thing we have to remember is protein is not stored in the body. Suppose I need, say, 50 grams of protein. I can't eat 100 grams of protein today and think tomorrow I ate today more, so it will be used tomorrow. No, it has to be supplied every day. So protein is very, very important. Now, where do you get protein from? We can get, for vegetarians, we can get from dals. Mostly, the most important source of protein for vegetarians is dal and soy products. They are very, very good sources of protein. And also milk products, animal products such as meat, fish, eggs, all of them are good sources of protein. Now the problem comes with for vegetarians. For non-vegetarians, meat, fish, egg, milk products, they are complete proteins. So you don't have to worry. If you are a non-vegetarian, you are eating plenty of protein foods from animals. It's very nice. Problems come for vegetarians. What happens with vegetarians is all these proteins are made out of amino acids. Now in these amino acids, some amino acids our body can synthesize, some amino acids are not synthesized in our body. So every day we have to provide them from our food. So there are some essential amino acids. Some are missing in dal. If you are a vegetarian, let's say for example, some 3 amino acids are missing in dals. And those 3 amino acids are present in rice and wheat. So if you're eating roti and rice with dal, whatever is missing in this is present in rice and roti. And what is missing in rice and roti is there in the dal. So they complement each other. So always eat your rice or dal, rice with dal or roti with dal. That is the only way you can make sure that you are getting all the raw material. Some people have this habit of, oh, protein is very difficult, dal is very difficult to digest in the night and all, and they don't eat enough dal. That is when you eat only rice and roti with just vegetable. That is when you are missing the amino acids which come from dals, which make them complete. So you're not having enough raw material for antibodies to work properly or to be released properly. So please make sure that you eat complete protein. There is an exception like soy products, which have protein which are as good as animal products. They have all the essential amino acids. You don't need to add it to rice or to dal or to do anything to make it complete. So these products, all, I know my next speakers are going to talk about soy completely, so I will leave it to them. But just remember, it is a complete protein. So it is a very, very good raw material for our body to make antibodies. Now, when we come to COVID situation, this is an example I wanted to tell you all, that when anything, like let's say coronavirus attacked our body. So when anything, it's a good sign if we get fever and inflammation, because that tells us that the body is fighting the infection. So along with the antibodies and so many other things, our body releases something called cytokines. They are small proteins and their main function is cell signaling. So they also are, some of the cytokines are anti-inflammatory, some are pro-inflammatory. That means they cause inflammation and they also decrease inflammation. So both like fever and inflammation go up, and when our body fights, really they will come down. This is what happens in natural cases. But in some COVID patients, what is happening is the cytokines are released so much that they are going out of control, and that is where it is called cytokine storm, and they are causing inflammation in the lungs. That is why people are getting problems regarding not in oxygen and all. So what we have to do is get this down. How do you get this down? There are some proteins which regulate the release of the proper cytokines, appropriate one, which have to bring the inflammation down. So those cytokines have, like, they are regulated by an amino acid called glycine. And this glycine helps in bringing this curve down to normal. So this is a new type of theory. So there are few foods which have glycine more. It's not an essential amino acid, but what happens is during illness and all, we need more of glycine to help the cytokines to come down. So what foods have this glycine is sesame seeds and soy. They have high amount of glycine. So make sure you eat complete protein, that is rice and dal or wheat and dal, or have complete proteins from animals, or you have soy products, so that you can make sure that there is enough raw material to make antibodies, and also there is enough glycine. Now the next one is you need a lot of vitamin D. Vitamin D helps in pulling our immune system, boosting your immune system. 10 to 15 minutes in direct sunlight, in not through the glass but direct, and not through our clothes. Like you can't cover your whole body and then say I'm sitting in the sun. The sunlight should fall on our bare skin. Then only 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 4 times a week. That should, because how much ever vitamin D you take from food or from supplements, nothing beats the vitamin D which comes from sunlight. So try to do that. Encourage your children to go out into the sun, maintaining the social distance. And also vitamin D is there in also in the egg yolk. People eat the white and throw off the egg yolk. This egg yolk is the one which has vitamin D, which boosts the immune system. Now, another theory is, like, if you look at this is how our cells look in our body. And every cell, including our immune system cells, and immune system is made out of a network of cells. And people think that only when we go into like a polluted area, or when we smoke or eat something bad, then our body gets these free radicals. No, actually, in normal condition also, when we are talking, eating, walking, our cells, when they are working, release some free radicals. Have to do is make sure that these free radicals are not accumulated in the body. If they are accumulated in the body, they cause heart problems, they cause cancer and so many things, and because they affect the working of our cells. So when they affect the working of our cells, they affect the immune system cells also. So when they affect the immune system cells, our immune system power goes down. So we have to make sure that the free radicals are in like not accumulated, not overly collected in our body. We have to keep them in a limited number. So how do we do that? We have antioxidants. These antioxidants will clean up these free radicals. They scavenge these free radicals. From where do we get them? Some of it is produced by our body. For that also, glycine, the amino acid which is present in sesame seeds and soy, is important. Like for example, glutathione antioxidant is made from in our body. So these will nullify the effect of free radicals. Now, otherwise, we can also provide antioxidants through our diet. Say like vitamin C is a very, very strong antioxidant. Vitamin E also is a very strong antioxidant. Where do you get vitamin C from? Citrus fruits and any other fruits also we will get. And vegetables also supply vitamin C, but the thing is, when we cook, they are lost. Half of it is lost. So eat 2 fruits a day at least, minimum. And vitamin E comes from oils and oil seeds, carrots, and also from green leafy vegetables. Peanuts, all these have vitamin E, and they are very, very strong antioxidants. Now, another type of antioxidants are minerals. Iron is a great antioxidant. Zinc is a very, very good antioxidant, and also selenium. These are very important antioxidants, and they are got from whole seeds, whole grains. So make sure that not just refined products, make sure that your diet has a lot of whole grain products, because you need to get these to make sure that we have more of these antioxidants compared to free radicals produced in our body. Because I have heard a lot of people saying, oh, I don't smoke, I don't eat junk food, things like that, so I won't have much free radicals. No, no. Like any work we do, our body naturally produces free radicals, and we have to keep them in control. Now, the other things, antioxidants are supplied by our tomatoes and watermelon. The color in tomatoes is because of lycopene. So that is a good antioxidant. Beta carotene. Any vegetable you take which is bright in color will have beta carotene. So make sure that you have vegetable in every meal. Fruits at least 2 to 3 in a day. Vegetable at every meal. Tea also supplies flavonoids, which are very, very good, antioxidants. So even green tea, ordinary tea, normal tea also has flavonoids. And one more thing is, I've seen a lot of people drinking 2 to 3 cups of green tea because they know it's good for immunity, because it has antioxidants. The best way to make green tea is put the green tea in a cup, boil water separately, cool it down to say 80 degrees, then add to your tea powder and mix it and drink it. Just keep it for 2 to 3 minutes and drink it, because you should not boil it. And also, why do you boil the water and then bring it down to 80 degrees centigrade is because if there is any dissolved oxygen, that will go out. Otherwise, that oxygen will act with the antioxidants and we will not get the entire antioxidants. So make sure you make the green tea in this manner, and so that you get the most benefit out of green tea. Now, according to ICMR, we require about 300 grams of vegetables in a day, 50 grams green leafy veggies, roots and tubers 50 grams, that is things like potato, and other vegetables 200 grams, and fruits 100 grams. So 2 to 3 fruits, and always eat a variety of fruit. So if you like apple, don't stick to apple all the time. If you like banana, don't stick to banana all the time. The more the variety, the better you get different types of advantages from all the natural foods we get outside in the nature. And another thing, our Indian cuisine allows us to use a lot of spices, and spices are loaded with antioxidant. So we have like a treasure in our kitchens, which we like. If you see the younger generation, they've stopped using a lot of spices. Their kitchens don't have so many spices because they have this thing that spices cause acidity. Yes, sometimes they do, but when you use it over and above, like you use it a lot. So don't use it a lot, use it in moderation, but make sure you have turmeric, pepper, cinnamon, cumin in your kitchen, and you use it regularly because they increase the antioxidant value of your diet. And one thing is, many people are using turmeric because it has antiviral property and they know it is good to prevent infection by coronavirus. But the thing is, turmeric is an antiviral ingredient because of curcumin, which is there in the turmeric. But curcumin is not absorbed in our body properly. Okay, so you need to make sure that the curcumin, whatever you put it in your vegetable preparation or you put it in your milk, that has to be absorbed as much as possible. So one small thing you can do is make pepper powder. Take a pinch of pepper powder and add it to your milk with turmeric, or to your vegetable preparation or khichdi, or wherever you use turmeric. That will increase almost like 2000 times absorption. Why? Because pepper has something called piperine, which is a bioenhancer. So you don't have to add equal amounts or nothing like that. Even if you add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, or 1 teaspoon of turmeric in your vegetable preparation, add a pinch or 2 pinches of the black pepper powder. That is enough. So make sure that you do that to get all the benefits out of turmeric. Okay, now most of our immune cells, majority are there in our large intestine. And our large intestine is also home for trillions of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, all sorts of microbes. And they make sure that our body is ready to fight any outside infection. So we need to make sure that this microbiota, they are like our pets. They are going to fight for us. So we have to make sure that nothing from outside comes. But they have to eat something, isn't it? For them, the food is fiber. So make sure that you have plenty of fiber in your diet, so that all these microbes which are living in our large intestine have enough food. And suppose you are say 60 kgs, 2 to 3 kgs of our body weight is made out of these microbes. So much of one small animal kingdom is living in our large intestine, and we need to feed it, and they are very, very important to stimulate as well as regulate the immune system. That's why do not take antibiotics indiscriminately. Follow your doctor's orders. Don't prescribe for yourself. So eat plenty of curd, which has homemade curd, which has a lot of friendly microbes. They will help to keep the composition of microbes in our large intestine, and all whole foods which have a lot of fiber, which is prebiotics, which are good for your to feed the microbes in the large intestine. So make sure you eat curd and you eat plenty of fiber rich foods. And omega-3 fatty acids, these are the omega-3 fatty acids. They are good for innate as well as adaptive immunity. So they are there in soy, they are there in flax seeds. Flax seeds are also very good source of omega-3 fatty acids, and also fish. So these are the products which you can eat for omega-3 fatty acids. A lot of people take those cod liver oil, fish liver oil capsules, but it's always better to get omega-3 fatty acids from the food sources. And make sure you take plenty of protein, whole grains for fiber, as well as minerals for antioxidants and vitamins. Minimum 2 fruits or more. They also supply fiber for the microbes. Vegetables at every meal for minerals, vitamins, as well as fiber. Curd for microbes, and also plenty of spices. Don't overdo it, so that if your system is not used to it, you will start having other problems. But make sure you add little at every meal. Depending on the type of food you are making, use the spices, but don't neglect the spices. And anything else I forgot? Let me just, this is the most important. Most people don't eat lot of fiber. Fruits also provide a lot of food for the microbes in the large intestine. So make sure that you get plenty of fiber. And I will be here till the end of the this workshop. So if you have any questions, please put them on the chat box, or you can ask me directly later on. Thank you very much for your attention.